So you're trying to figure it all out by yourself. You're trying to use force to get what you want, to manifest that partner, manifest your dream business, the cash flow, whatever it is. You're using your lower mind. Instead, you should be using your higher mind. And in this video, I'm going to share with you the power of accessing your higher mind, your higher self, to get exactly what you want in a time frame that feels easy, congruent with your nervous system, and effortless to other people watching, almost enviable of what you're able to experience and achieve. So let's dive straight into it. The higher self is your higher guidance. Now, a lot of people on the spiritual journey will start to dive into this topic and want to know more about how to connect with their higher self. And in upcoming videos, I'll share with you more about how to do that. But in this video, I really want to empower you to understand that you're working with a power versus a force. Instead of referring to Dr. David Hawkins' book, Power versus Force, we're going to refer to the higher mind as the power and your lower mind, your conscious mind, the ego mind, as the force. So when you're wanting something in your life, you tend to lean into what can I do? What do I have to do on a day-to-day basis, week-to-week basis to get exactly what I want? I need to move the needle in the outside world by using force. I need to do more things, show more effort, hustle, grind, all that sort of stuff. And you'll quite often find that you come up against brick walls. And you're coming up against brick walls because you're forcing an outcome that you know you want and feel deeply is part of your desire matrix that you're called to experience. But at the same time, you're negating the higher mind. Now, to give you a quick analogy, the higher mind sees across all the valleys and all the mountain ranges. It is the ultimate 30 to 40,000 foot view. It's the eagle's view. And so you can relate back to, any of the ancient sort of scriptures or teachings and the esoterics around the sun representing the eagle. It's the higher mind. So when you tap into the higher mind, it actually works out for you the fastest divine timing. Your only role is to give it explicit instructions as to what you want. And that's the key here. Explicit instructions as to the experiences you want, not getting trapped in the how. Because the lower mind will often say, I want to work out the how. I need the assurance that if I do these things in this order, pretending I know what I'm doing, then I'll get exactly what I want. We get trapped in the how. And if you get trapped in the how, then comment how below, because we all do it. We want to know that we're going to be met with the outcomes we want by taking the actions we believe we need to take in order to get the outcome or the experience that we want. The higher mind is governing the entire process. So when you receive information, messages from your higher self, it comes through the language of feeling, sensation, nudges, intuition, you could call it. So instead of going left, you're having this sense to go right. It doesn't make sense to the conscious mind all the time because it wants to control it wants to be the navigation tool, when in fact it's the dumbest part of the mind. It's very accurate at following process and coming up with ideas. That's the conscious mind. But the higher mind, when you follow that nudge, that intuition, doors to the universe open. Doors open. So you'll hear in that scripture verse is knock and the door shall be opened unto you. This is what we're talking about here. So when you decide what you want to experience and you move into that experience through your imagination, through the language of sensation, through the language of feeling, as Neville Goddard represents and suggests in a lot of his work, is you start to then open more doors so the universe closes the ones that are no longer meant for you. And those ones that are no longer meant for you are the ones that are no longer vibrationally aligned with the direction that you are heading towards experiencing the fulfillment of your desires. So how can you trust the higher mind? You trust the higher mind by getting in touch with it through presence and by being quiet, practicing a breathing technique. All of this I share inside my Frequency for Success community. You can see the link in the description below. So when you're starting to access the higher mind, you will receive instruction through, like I said, through a nudge, through a sensation, through just a quiet knowing. There's also a very strong language here that when it's not something, that's also a sign to go in a different direction. So as an example, let's say that your quandary is over do this in business or that in business, service this niche instead of that niche. You'll have an instantaneous or near instantaneous emotional reaction to that. You'll feel that doesn't feel aligned. Why do you discount that? Instead, that doesn't feel aligned. So if the other option does, move in that direction, open that door, allow the universe to open more doors in that direction so that the other ones, the pruning of the energy that you were giving to those other areas that weren't working for you is now made available. So the law of thermodynamics. So energy never dies. It is just transformed into another form. So when you give attention to your higher mind's instruction and you open the doors to trusting that you are being led in a direction that is for you, ultimately by you and through you, through the language of your higher mind, through your higher self, then you will find that your path becomes easier, more enjoyable. And that's where freedom is. True freedom is following the nudge, following the excitement, following the thread of information that is vibrating within you as a feeling or as a sense or as a knowing.